Hello and welcome everyone back to the League of Europe for round number 15 here at division number 4 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And to take us through this 15th round of the championship, where a championship ultimately will not be decided tonight, but could be in the next two rounds. In the commentary booth to take us through this one is going to be myself, QVR Packer, and alongside me it's going to be Ariel Nolan. How's it going, Jack?
As far as league racing's going, it's going alright, but other than that, as you've just heard before the party, it's not going too great for good old Ariel Nolan tonight.
Yeah, having a few issues, I guess we'll go with on that one. So
Mate, my rear end's about as inconsistent as the D4 rear ends in this race, trust me.
Could be worse, could be me anyways. So, heading into this one, 15th round of the championship, after a post-race penalty for Ryan B, dropping him down to P9 on the overall, or in the results for the Mexican Grand Prix, scoring only 4 points. Championship looking a little bit closer, only 7 points separates the top two now, 195 for Ryan B and 188 for Alt Maverick.
Yeah, it's after the penalty situation, we'll keep our views on it separate, but it's really changed the title race a lot, because all of a sudden, anyone could win. We were looking before this race, before the stewards report came out, it kind of looked like Ryan had it in the bag if he just kept it clean, and now all of a sudden it's fair game again with just 7 points. A win for Maverick and Ryan in second, and that brings us level going into the last two races.
Yeah, so definitely there's a lot to decide here coming into, this third to last race in the championship. It really could switch either way depending how those two championship protagonists race here in Azerbaijan. In Azerbaijan, a lot of things can change here. So no one's going to win the championship tonight, but depending on how it goes tonight, someone could decide it either in Japan or the finale in Brazil in 2 weeks' time. So, besides the top two, obviously, we can look at the championship standings. The KMK currently in P3 on 140 points and Major Falcon on 120. Mr. Woucher a further 20 points behind on 100, so spacing out a little bit there in that upper midfield. But then we get to the tight groups in terms of the points. MCR on 89 and P6. Marty on 82 could jump up a few positions if he has a strong last three races. Only 4 points from the last two races for Marty after that strong run of form. Storm in P8 on 70. McDutchface in P9 on 66 with Ariel Jordan rounding at the top 10 on 60 points. 13 backs is Connor or Slimcon on 47. NSR Noah J on 46. 39 for Poldy Poles. 37 for United Bosnia. NL Energetics is on 35, and then Ivorbird Mike on 29, Eduk on 26, Slayer on 23, Ben Gallagher in 19th with 15, and then Bagabones and Ralker, the last two spots with points P3 and P2. And we also have a few new drivers here tonight. I believe iConnex and IRT Resify on the grid.
Yeah, and it is worth noting that Cam K is still mathematically with a chance of winning the title. I know it's slim, but he's 55 points behind, 75, 3 wins, and he is fast enough. And if you got a win tonight, you got second last week. If you got a win tonight, this is a track where we could see carnage happen to Ryan and Maverick. I'm not saying it's likely. When you look at numbers, statistically, Falcon could win, but that would be a bare miracle. He'd have to win all 3 races and have Ryan and Maverick pretty much DNF every race. But mathematically, it's technically possible, but with a bad race tonight, with Maverick and Ryan, if Cam K was to get a win, which he is capable of doing, he's had a win this season before, and he is fast enough, he's just so strange with his consistency. Like, 1 week he can look like he should be in Division 2, next week he should be in D6. So, that is possible, but obviously the two people that we're going to put in most of our focus on tonight will be Ryan and Maverick.
Yeah, Maverick has said in the past that he is good at this circuit, so let's see how he's going to be able to perform here tonight. But obviously, there's still 16.5 minutes left to decide where you're going to be starting on the grid, and it can be so very important here at Azerbaijan, because it is going to be, well, we would hope, quite chaotic for this upcoming Grand Prix. It seems that IRT Resify is going to be the first driver 2-star lap on the mediums, interestingly enough, so looking to save a set of the soft tires for the race, possibly. So let's see how the reserve driver will get on here in his first race in the League of Europe. 6 Yeah, 6 kilometers coming up for this first flying lap, 3.7 miles if you prefer. So let's see, getting very close to the wall there,
It's
heading
a bit
through.
shaky, he's not even started.
Heading through that penultimate quarter. So yeah, opening up the DRS just now, heading through turn 20 just a little while ago before activating that DRS, but now to the lap, just crossing the start finish line and now braking into turn 1. You want to try and use all the track possible. Misses the apex just a little bit, but he's going to be doing that on the mediums. Not very high grip are those yellow wool tires. Into turn 2, looks very nice on the apex. Short shift to third gear, gets a little bit of a slide on the apex, but is able to corral it and now power his way down towards turn 3 with the DRS open. The second DRS zone on the circuit, breaking into turn 3 can be very difficult. Misses that inside curb almost perfectly, and now into turn 4. A little bit of a lockup on the front right down to second gear. Short shifting third, fourth. A little bit of oversteers. Pulled is out, crashing out of turn 12. They're just about going into turn 13, but as we had through turn 6 with IRT Resify, now heading up towards the castle section. This first right-hander, you can cut it quite a bit, and he does that successfully. Now heading onto the infamous castle section, claims so many cars here in the recent years. Third gear all the way through as we head through turn 12. Track limits here are being watched by the stewards there at turn 12, and now you'll see pull stricken car on the right-hand side as we head through these fast left-handers. Oh, big slide there for Resify as he was all over the curb, but now we're breaking into turn 15, the penultimate corner, the final corner of that middle sector. Now we head on to the final braking zone of the circuit, turn 16 for the Haas driver. A little bit of a lockup sends him a little bit wide, but is able to keep it within track limits and keep it pretty nice and tidy through 17 and now through this 18-19 chicane, which I'm sure will claim at least one driver here tonight. Unfortunate enough during the race to keep their ERS on there, but here now through turn 20, heading towards the line, a long run to the line here, just over a kilometer, I believe, from turn 16. A little touch on the wall there as he opens up DRS. Crosses the line to a 140.287, which is not too bad at all.
Yeah, it's a decent lap to start with. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll see some improvements on it, but to get a lap on the board straight away, especially at this track where it's so easy to pick up damage, it's just a bit of confidence boosting, I think. I don't think we'll see anyone in the top 10 on the mediums. We shouldn't do anyway. The gap is quite big on paces. Martin now goes top of the group, which he kind of making a habit of doing at the moment, and it's a 38.9, which is not a terrible banker considering. I know there's people in much higher divisions getting much slower times than the bankers, so I think he'll be happy with that one.
Yeah, that's looking like my PBs or something like that right now. So yeah, Marty looks to be doing quite well. But so the Ferraris looking good once again here in qualifying. Let's see if they can improve, or let's see if they can keep on that trend. I believe they had a 1-2 last time out in Mexico in qualifying. So let's see what they can do here in Azerbaijan. I don't want to say a much more technical circuit, but it's definitely more difficult than Mexico in terms of, keeping it alive, which Marty was unable to do last week. P3, though, for Ryan B, as we're getting through these lap times. I think All Maverick is going to be the next driver to come across the line, heading through that penultimate corner now through turn 20. Let's see what the Ferrari driver can do. Not
just
entirely...
purple in Sector 1 as well.
Yeah,
looking decent.
Not entirely sure what he was doing, but it looks to be good so far. Crosses the line, 39 flat for All Maverick.
It's a round 1 to Maverick then, with him and Ryan.
Yeah, not terrible for Mavericks, just around 0.5 of a second faster than his championship rival at the moment, so not bad at all. IRT Resify finds half a second on a medium lap time and goes on to a 139.7. Faster than the two Alpines who did set their lap times on the soft tires. So yeah, IRT Resify looking pretty decent on those medium tires. But right now it's the two Ferraris on the front row, followed by Eduk, and then the two Mercedes and Ryan B and Ariel Jordan. And must I mention, we also have a constructors fight on our hands. 15 points right now splits Ferrari to Mercedes, 270 to 255.
Yeah, and we're talking about IRT Resify for a minute. That lap on the mediums is extremely quick compared to everyone else on the softs. And I was just thinking, it'd be really interesting at the end of the season now, if we get a couple of these new drivers being at the front, just to mix it up with Maverick and Ryan. It adds an extra element because that point's being taken away from them. I think at the start of the season it was almost guaranteed that they had first and second, whereas now we've got drivers like Marty. You never know what Cam K is going to do. If we have IRT Resify coming in getting laps as well, Major Falcon we know dabbles at the top now. It'll be interesting to see how he puts himself in the mix because, yeah, he can't compete for a championship or something, but if he's competing for a podium, that's a spot that's not guaranteed for Maverick and Ryan anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That puts those top two under even more pressure to perform to try and get those results because, well, we're coming down to crunch time here in season 6, so they really need to get the results and capitalize on any mistakes from anybody really because every point is going to be even more power to you. So let's see how this race gets underway and qualifying comes to the end here. 10 minutes 40 seconds left here, short qualifying. Obviously, we started with 18 minutes, so the first run's just coming to an end here. I'm sure a few drivers will be heading out onto their second runs. I think Slayer right now is on his personal first run, just heading through the first sector now and heading up towards turn 3.
Just read in the chat that my mic's a bit weird. I'm hoping that it's a bit better now. Let's have a listen and find out. It sounds good now. Alright, that's a bit better. Sorry if it was a bit dodgy before, I don't know what that was.
Well, yeah, it sounded fine to me in the party, so I'm not entirely sure. Just could be my internet maybe, but yeah.
It's just Cam K being an Anyway.
Oh, well, yeah. So yeah, Slayer.
So, you talk about this Constructors' battle. Both Ferraris, both Mercedes in the top 5, so Jordan's showing up when it matters. I think that's been the difference, hasn't it, in the Constructors. At the start of the season, it was very much Ryan and Maverick carrying their team, and Mercedes had quite a big lead because Jordan was outperforming Marty a lot, just due to Marty not being able to finish a race. But Marty now, since he started pulling it together, Ferrari have taken control of the Constructors' battle, and Ryan's going to need Jordan to start picking up some more points because it doesn't look like Marty's slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, early on in the season, I guess we could have really predicted this Constructors fight. We had both Ferraris up there. I think they were on the front row in the first race of the season, so they were looking good in qualifying, but then Marty made his mistakes. I was unable to finish that race, I do believe. I don't think he scored any points in that first race. Yeah, DNF in the first 3, didn't score in Britain. So Jordan picking up, I think it was a top 4, I want to say a P4 for him. That was really huge at the beginning of the season. Another 4th place at Spain for the second Mercedes driver. And then obviously we have Ryan B and Maverick up at the top of the standings, duking it out with each other. So we could have kind of predicted this at the beginning, especially since Marty began to pick it up and towards the second half of the season and now dipped off a little bit just through mistakes, those mistakes showing through once again. So yeah, it's starting to get close up at the top of the Constructors, so let's see how that plays out. Obviously, I'm going to keep saying it. We still have 3 races left in this championship, 15 points separating the Constructors, 7 points separating the drivers. So even for Marty and Ariel Jordan, there's a championship fight on their hands as well.
Yeah, and I think another team that was always been up there, Alpine, we can't count them out. They're on 209. Obviously, Constructors, you can gather a lot more, and I think it would have been a lot closer if a Storm gets into the top 10. If Falcon, last week, he got very unlucky, do you remember? He qualified P3, and then I think his lights were different to everybody else's, so he dropped instantly, then got rear wing damage as well, so his race was over from the lights. If Falcon, who has found himself at the top, and MCR has always been quite consistent in the middle, they're not necessarily out of it. Obviously, it's a higher climb for them based off after last week, Falcon getting so unlucky, but there is a chance that they're still in it. They've been up there all season.
Yeah, they are pretty close. What is it? 270 for Ferrari, 255 for Mercedes, and then 209 for Alpine. So they're only 46 points behind Mercedes, so they're not out of it because I think the most points you can score in a race is 44, I want to say. So they're, 1-2 and a fastest lap out of it, and they're still 2 points behind. So they're not out of it, but MCR would really have to pick it up, I would imagine, as well as Major Falcon have to pull out some amazing results for the Alpine team. But yeah,
I mean, when you look at the drivers' standings, like Major Falcon's 4th, MCR's 6th, so they are consistent. They're actually more consistent than when you look at the Mercedes team, really. I think last week's result harmed them a lot. They'd have looked a lot more in it. I think at the moment they're probably fighting Aston Martin, but they've shown, based off the driver standings, that they are up there most of the time.
Yeah, Division 4 is really close, especially with some of the difference in results that we've had. I mean, we've had mistakes from Ryan B. We've had mistakes from Alt Maverick. We've had, a few mistakes from Cam K, Major Falcon, Mr. Rod. Everybody in this championship has made mistakes. really, besides, I want to say MCR, he's been quite consistent besides Monza and I guess like Hungary, Portugal, and that's little span of races. But besides that, he's been quite close to top 6, top 7 most of the races. So,
I mean, when you just say that now, looking at MCR, every single race he started on, he scored points.
yeah.
He is the car mentalist of Division 4. It's just there's not as many bottles.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, he's consistent when scoring. He obviously doesn't have, I guess, the big results that Carmentelis has. Obviously, the win that he took in Imola in D2. He does have that replicating third place though. So, yeah, Alt Maverick though goes up to the top of this. Goes up to the top as I somehow select Yuki Tsunoda to spectate. But yeah, Alt Maverick up at the top of the fastest so far, 138.902. I'm going to expect we'll see something a little bit faster within this next 5, 6, 7 minutes as we get to the very, very, very end of this session. Obviously, still have third runs left to go. Let's see who else is out on track. Energetics is out on track, but he's not on a lap. Solar is out on track, not a lap.
Kamke has done what he did at Portugal. He's just not gone out for a lap, and I don't understand why he does this, because he's in third, and he technically, like numerically, has a chance at the championship still, be it smaller, but still has a chance, and he's just not going out for a lap. And it makes you wonder with Kamke, like, if he gave it 100%, where would he be? Because he clearly has the pace. He just doesn't. He's so strange.
Yeah, it's interesting sometimes watching KMK here in Division 4. There's just, I guess, decisions that I personally wouldn't make. But yeah, right now we do have Iverburn Mike though coming to the line. I think he'll be pulling into the pit lane, even though he was, I want to say, purple in the middle sector, but he's completely out of ERS, breaking into the pit lane. So yeah, just gonna pull in. And see, try and get that final run in. Only a few drivers out on track. Jordan, who I saw completely without a front wing. So just bringing that back to the pits. Alt Maverick just heading into the pit lane as well. Energetics P13 heading to the line, but he's not using ERS, which is strange. 43.691 for him as he goes even faster. Slayer retires from the session.
Something interesting to note then, I'm looking at the tyres that people have used. I think Maverick and Ryan have now used all their softs because they came in and abandoned a lap as well. I think Marty's the only guy with a fresh set left for this qualifying out of the front runners.
Yeah, if Alt Maverick really wanted to, if he wanted to try and get that front row for Marty, because it's a really short run down to turn 1 here at Azerbaijan. You get up to like 5th, 6th gear and you're already braking into that first corner. So yeah, if he wanted to, he could maybe give Marty a little bit of a slipstream, but Marty already out there on track. I think the only driver right now who's on a competitive lap time, actually on a push lap, is McDutchface. So just riding along with the Red Bull driver. Currently P17 yet to set a lap time with 2.5 minutes left here in qualifying. Storm just started a lap in the Aston Martin. I believe the next driver to come across the line to start one is going to be one of the Alpines, either Major Falcon or MCR. So let's see how this is going to play out. McDutchface going out a little bit earlier than the other drivers, just trying to get a little bit of clean air, and he has successfully done that. So just heading through the middle sector up towards the castle section now. Looks pretty clean. 3rd gear, 2nd gear up at the top, just trying to get that a little bit of extra rotation through the corners, and now we'll head out of turn 12 there through turn 13.
This is interesting.
Turn
We've got
14.
So Ryan B's, obviously this is going to be crunch time for him. And we've got Maverick behind Ryan B as they're going to start the lap. We've got a little bit of traffic, and Maverick's at the back of it. So could Ryan B accidentally give Maverick slipstream?
That would definitely be interesting, because Ryan, we have to mention, right up at the top 5 are all within a tenth of each other. Less than a tenth of each other.
Oh, it's ridiculously
close. It's very tight up at the top. So any improvement really could change your position 2 or 3 places if you find a tenth of a second. So it's going to be crunch time for all of those top 5 there, and especially for anyone looking to get up there as well. Iverson Mike right now the best of the rest besides those top 5, and IRT Resify looking quick here in his debut. McDutchface goes up to P7 on his latest flying lap. Storm through the middle sector is up 0.3 of a second, looking to challenge Jordan right now, but he still have to find a little bit more time, around 1 or 2 tenths in this final sector. It's going to be difficult considering there's only one real braking zone and corner through that final sector, and that is turn 16. He doesn't find any time in the final sector, but it puts himself up into P10, looking for other drivers to improve, so he won't be starting in what could be one of the worst places to start a lap. Ryan B following his teammate quite closely here. Interestingly enough, Ariel Jordan just a second and a bit, maybe 2 seconds in front of his teammate out on track. And Jordan, let's see what type of lap time he can pull out. One of the Williams, I think that's Eduk, just coming to the line to start one with only a few seconds left on on the clock. One of the McLarens is coming to the line. That's Cam K to start his first and final flying lap. So let's look here. One of the Alpha Towers coming to the line, followed by one of the Alfa Romeos, and that's going to be iSolar and NL Energetic, with connects in the pit lane still on those medium tires, and qualifying is now finished. Solar jumps up to P7. Energetics will head to the pit lane because he was not improving. Let's see what Marty was doing. He's not improving. He backed up, or he wasn't not a decent lap time. It's a 40.1. Not a good lap time there for Marty. Was unable to improve on his lap time. Ryan B and Ariel Jordan getting really close out on track. That dirty air is going to be starting to affect the second Mercedes out on track of Ryan B. So let's see how that plays out later on in the session through the middle and final sectors. Iverson Mike, he was a few tenths of a second up. Iverson Mike, 38.9, puts himself into P4. That's a good lap there for the McLaren driver. One of the Alpine's Major Falcon. It's a 39.9 and puts himself into P12. Now one of the Red Bulls, McDutchface, he's heading to the pit lane, so it's going to be IRT Resify, 0.3 of a second up. This could be pole position here, depending on what the other drivers do. Resify on his debut, 38.683. That will take provisional pole position for the time being. Storm heads to the pit lane, and now it's going to be the 2 Mercedes. Ariel Jordan, he's up, but marginally. Ryan B is down through the middle sector split. Let's see what it's going to be for the 2 Mercedes. Jordan goes P8. Ryan B doesn't improve on his final lap time, and Alt Maverick to the line improves by 0.2 of a second, but it's in the end 7 thousandths of a second off of provisional of pole position. MCR and Cam K still on laps, but Cam K backs off heading to the line. MCR 14 seconds down through the middle sector split. So that's going to be qualifying here in division number 4. Resify on pole position by 7 thousandths of a second to Alt Maverick. Eduk Marty will share that second row. Iverson Mike taking a P5. I was going to say a shock P5, but he was talking to me earlier. He said he really likes this track. So a P5 there for Iverson Mike, but shockingly, Ryan B P6 sharing the third row? No, yeah, third row with Iverson Mike, and then Solar, Ariel Jordan P7, P8, and then McDutchface MCR P9 and P10. So, Resify on his debut, a really good lap there. Alt Maverick just unable to find that extra 8 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, I think Jordan being ahead ultimately didn't work out because Ryan had dirty air for most of that lap, and then at the end, Jordan seemed a bit too far away to give Ryan the full power of the slipstream. So I think the teamwork there just didn't quite work out. I think shout out really to IRT Resify, his first race finishing on pole, and he could really put a spanner in the works here because he has no loyalties to anyone. So Maverick has to find a way through. But at the same time, Maverick, the way things are currently, obviously we know with Baku anything can change. The amount of safety cars we might get is absurd, but he has the power to chill because the pressure was on Ryan B here, and Ryan B being so far back, this is not a track where you want to be in the middle of the pack of.
Yeah, exactly. The walls are so very close. It's difficult, even while driving by yourself, to keep it out of the wall, especially for some drivers, including myself. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult to make it through all 26 laps here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Division 4. So, yeah, and also, we haven't even raced here since Season 4. So it's been quite a while for drivers who only race in LOE since their last Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So it's going to be survival of the fittest. And if you make any mistakes, that could be, your race over. And any possible championship fights that you're in, that could be over as well. Only 3 races to go here.
thing is with Baku, I found it to be a bit like Singapore in, yeah, if you make a mistake, like it'll mess you over, but you've almost got a chance at redemption on this track because the way safety cars tend to work, you tend to get about 3 or 4. It's just the way it goes because it's so thin. That if you make a mistake, a safety car can tend to bring you into the race. Like, I think we see it in Singapore a lot. You'll have like 6 winners at one point because everyone's in a chance to win and then something happens. So I think the message to the drivers for this would be, if you crash and make a mistake, like, just carry on because the safety cars will probably bring you back into it.
Yeah, definitely. You have to keep going, waiting for a safety car. And if there is no safety car, well, I would be quite shocked, to be completely honest. So, yeah, heading on to the
Saying that, though, what do you do with fuel?
Ooh, yeah.
It's always a risk to underfuel expecting a safety car. But, I mean, with a track like this, if you don't get a safety car, then the odds of that are so low. Like, you don't want to be finishing the race on, like, plus 4 or 5 laps of fuel. But you don't want to be that one time that you underfuel and then end up not having it. I mean, I guarantee we'll see Mike underfuel. He's done it like 3 times this season. But you just know the way the odds work, that you underfuel that one time and then you never get a safety car.
Yeah, I personally don't take the risk with underfueling. I just put in enough fuel for the entire race and hope.
iConnect has. He's the only little... Oh no, 2. McDutchface and iConnect are the only 2 that are under fuel at the moment.
Yeah. For me, McDutchface isn't under fuel, but...
He's just gone off it, so he's teetering then because he was yellow a second ago, so...
Yeah. Well...
Same as iConnect, I think he's just gone white as well. So they're on the borderline. We don't know how many other drivers have taken fuel out, but I can guarantee most of the drivers will be running maybe plus 1 lap. Because I don't think you want to run too much because the odds of a safety car are so high. Most commentators do this. We've not really done it much this season. But now we're getting to crunch time. I'm going to give you a chance to predict the top 3 for this race because it's getting important now. And we've got people like Rezify in the mix, and we know Eduk's fast as well, and Marty makes his way, and it'll be interesting to see what you think will happen for this race.
Well, keeping with the trend of, what's the word? Anyways, keeping with the trends here at Division 4, I'm going to say Alt Maverick to win. And I'll go with Ryan B in second with Ivor and Mike in P5. So going to keep it spicy for the end of the season, last 2 races,
P5,
and get those top 2 tied on points, and Ivor and Mike to take a podium, first podium of the season, I believe. So
see, I'm going to go for Rezify because I just feel like he's going to be one of those drivers that turn up and slap it and end up in D3 next season. Then I'm going to go for Maverick just because I don't fancy Ryan's chances in the middle of the pack at Baku. And as much as I'd like to back Mike, he's so unlucky. I'm going to go for MCR because I think he'll keep it clean and probably get it on pens.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw someone out there. I'm going to say Slayer for a decent result as well on those medium tires from the back of the grid. Not a podium, just a decent result, you know. But yeah, here around number 15, the 5 red lights are on for Azerbaijan here in Division number 4. Marty got an amazing start. Already looking to the inside of Alt Maverick for second place. Eduk around the outside. Oh, there's contact between Marty and Eduk there, and Marty spun around. So I guess that's what he gets for having an absolutely amazing start. But Eduk is up into P2. Alt Maverick into P4.
Ryan B.
Ryan B and Iverburn Mike there swapping positions at turn 2, heading down towards turn 3. No one looking to make a move. Solar looking to the back of McDutchface, but not quite close enough to get that or to attempt a move there. Major Falcon, Ariel, Jordan, Storm, iConnects all single file through the first 3 corners and into turn 4. Ooh, Noah J into the back of Cam K, and he's completely lost his front wing. I think that was him. Yeah, that's the Haas. Ooh, he's going quite wide there.
Yeah, he's deep now.
Into
he's
turn 5.
A big gap, and this is bad for the drivers behind.
Yeah, this is terrible for MCR. He's lost quite a few positions off the start. P10 now down to P14, looking to the inside of Noah J. The Haas driver goes quite deep there into that right-hander, but it's going to be P13 for MCR, so lost quite a few positions off the start. But it seemed that inside line got a pretty decent start for most of the drivers. Ryan B up to P4. Iverburn Mike didn't lose any positions, but Ryan B was able to gain 2. Alt Maverick down 1. Eduk up 2, I want to say, and then Marty obviously down to the back of the grid. Ooh, that's and Noah J into the wall
with that wing loss there, and look at the gap already with Rectify. He's pulled a second, and I think my prediction might be spot on here if the safety car doesn't screw him out. It's twice he's just recovered it. He's almost got. I don't know if he's lagging. If he's not, then he's recovered it twice from going in the wall. I think I was right because Maverick's got a big run on him here. He's lost a lot of speed. Mike's going to get another run down to Ryan into turn 1, as I think he'll feel he's justified because Ryan did push him into the wall into turn 2. I did check. I don't think. Oh, he's going to hang it on the outside as well. That's going to be interesting. Now, this is the corner that it happened. Mike's going a lot more defensive here. Mike, I think, has got away with damage. I don't see any visible, so unless he's got slight damage, which weirdly in F2 actually makes your car faster around this track. It's very strange, but look at the front. Maverick's now into P2. Resify seems uncatchable early on, but we'll see what happens now Maverick's got free air. At the moment, though, I think Maverick will be looking at this thinking, Ryan B, P5. I know he races with Mike in party chat. I don't know if it shouldn't affect anything. We'd hope not, but you never know. Mike, obviously, he don't find himself up near the front too often, and at Baku, he's been known. I know when I was in D4 with Mike, he was very strong at Baku, so as he almost puts it in the wall. I think this will be a track where he'll fight, knowing he can get a good position, which is bad news for Ryan, but great news for Maverick.
Solar and Ariel Jordan were going side. Was that a Red Bull without a wing? Yeah, McDutchface has completely lost his front wing.
And Energetics is round as well. Stop. People are being bold here, and how have we not seen a safety car?
Oh, Solar defending from iConnect there. Unless he has front wing damage, that could possibly be the reason. Yeah, he's missing a right end plate is the AlphaTauri driver, so that would explain him falling down the falling down the field. McDutchface also has damage, so he's going to be going quite slow here. Let's storm through the S's. Cam K trying to make his way through as well. MCR is going to be the next driver to try and overtake that Red Bull. But up at the front, Alt Mavericks in front is making an overtake on IRT Resify into turn 1, the inside for the Ferrari driver, and the Haas is going to have to concede that position. So Alt Maverick at the beginning here, making after that, god-awful start, lost position to Marty and then spun, lost the position to lost the position to Eduk, lost the position to Resify was already in front of him, but yeah, making his way past Eduk on the previous lap. Alt Maverick making his way past IRT Resify here on lap number 3, and now with DRS enabled, Resify, if he can keep it out of the wall and keep it on track, should be able to stick with the Ferrari driver unless Alt Maverick can continue to keep up the pace like this. And also Iverbryn Mike starting to show his pace a little bit, catching up to the back of Eduk, who has been struggling because he almost lost or was almost out of DRS range to Alt Maverick on that previous lap.
Yeah, and I don't know what setup Maverick's running, or whether it is down to setup, as Resify I think might have picked up a warning there. He's gotten a bit sloppy now, and I mean, Maverick puts it in the wall, saves that. But this is an incredible championship drive for Maverick. This is exactly what he needed as well, and if he carries this on, you can't dispute it. As I don't know if Resify made a mistake, or whether Maverick's just running quite low wings, but he was soaring down that straight in the DRS. And he's almost pulling the gap already. He's almost a second. He is a second ahead. I don't know if it'll be in time for DRS. If he can break this before the DRS activation zone, which I think he has done.
Well, there's still a little bit. They have to get to turn 20.
Maverick's looking rapid.
Yeah, Maverick didn't use his ERS early enough, early enough, so Resify was able to use his ERS, get within DRS range by just a few thousandths of a second. Eduk was unable to get DRS, so Iverbryn Mike behind him is going to have that DRS heading down towards turn 1. He's running out of ERS as the McLaren driver, but he's making his way past the Williams, and I think that's probably for the best here, because he needed to make up those positions, and Eduk was struggling. He already was gapped by Resify and Maverick. Resify hopping over the curb there at turn 2, still has DRS to Alt Maverick, but is unable really to gain, because Alt Maverick doing quite well for himself up in the lead of this race. Iverbryn Mike, though, has lost DRS to the top 2. Eduk looks up the inside but is not going to be able to make that move on Iverbryn Mike. So currently Alt Maverick, Resify, Iverbryn Mike, Eduk, and then Ryan B, the top 5. Major Falcon and P6 on the mediums, I might say, from P12 on the grid. I was going to say Major Falcon originally as my driver to watch, but Slayer...
yeah, here we go. I was going to say it.
I was going to say him, but, Slayer, I have to predict Slayer for a good result right now. Eduk must have made a mistake there, because Ryan B was just able to overtake the Williams driver out of turn 6, heading down towards turn 7. But yeah, we have seen it now. Eduk is really struggling here in the race. His qualifying lap was pretty decent, put himself into P3. but now is seemingly is beginning to struggle here in the race, keeping it on track and without making those mistakes. But Alt Maverick up the front has dropped Resify from DRS once again.
Yeah, and I don't know if Ryan spotted Mike's red flashing light, because I know Eduk would have seen it, but I don't know if Ryan was close enough to see it, so I don't know if he knows what Mike's ERS situation is like. Ryan's on 76%, so he's been storing.
Well, he's going to have to use DRS anyway to get within DRS.
Yeah, oh, he is actually. He's just outside. Maverick's broken it as well. Resify does not have DRS, so Maverick's looking in a great situation. I think he can start to save soon. As this is the pit window. Resify's in, and this is probably a great move because the undercut's massive here. The softs are going to start to feel terrible. I'm not actually exaggerating here. Resify could jump him and go into first. That's how strong the undercut is, so we'll see. I'm not too certain on anything past the soft-medium strategy. That seems to be the popular one. He's getting held massively. What's going on here?
He's getting a front wing change. And so is Edux, so that explains Edux's lack of pace. That explains Resify dropping from DRS to Alt Maverick. So also other pit lane activities are Ariel Jordan into the pits for mediums, MCR into the pits for mediums. So those are the earliest, those four. Marty sets fastest lap of the race. He pit for mediums after having that spin at turn 1 from contact with contact from Edux there. So yeah, Marty into the pit lane. I'd like to say Everbrid Mike was barely able to skim away DRS from IRT Resify before the Haas driver was into the pit lane. So Mike looking pretty good here. He's broken DRS to Ryan B, so this could be really good for Alt Maverick. He's going to have what MCR could possibly jump up past Ryan B. I don't think he was close enough, but it could be a good shout. IRT Resify, obviously, with that undercut attempt and getting, well, it's not going to be an undercut attempt because he got his front wing change. So Alt Maverick, Everbrid Mike, Ryan B, all looking pretty good here for those top 3 positions if they are into the pits on this lap or the next.
Yeah, and I know it's a situation on this game where sometimes you'll have damage and you don't even know because the game doesn't tell you, and then you just go into the pits, and if you have it on auto, all of a sudden your wing's getting changed and you don't know why. These softs are starting to die though. I've seen coming through the last turn, people's back ends are going all over the place. And why is Mike staying out?
I don't know.
I feel like the smart move was to pit there. The softs look like they've completely gone, but maybe he's banking on a safety car? Maybe? I mean, you don't have to worry about Camke because they're on opposite strategies, but he's on for a podium. I don't know why he'd stay out, to be honest.
Yeah, well, Alt Maverick into the pit lane. Let's see where the Ferrari driver is going to come out. He's going to be in front of Resify after Resify got his front wing changed by quite a big gap. 6.5, almost 7 seconds there is the gap between those two drivers. So that shows you how long it takes you to get your front wing changed. And Alt Maverick must have had a pretty decent in lap as well. So yeah, Alt Maverick into P8. He's just in behind Slayer, who's currently P7, yet to pit here. And then it's the 2 Aston Martins, P6 and P5 for Storm and Icon next. Major Falcon P4 after being passed by Cam K and is dropped from DRS.
Moving Martin now, is he? No, he's a safe driver. He's gonna get the cutback. Actually, he has done. And he's passed Martin. That was a great move. I just saw that from Solo's point of view, and I'm just thinking about those pit stops. Then Ryan's messed up big time, because if Ryan would have pit then when Mike stayed out,
he could have gotten a decent undercut,
and he'll get past Resify because of the wing damage. So that would have put him in P2.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't know about Resify's front wing change, but I'm sure he'll definitely know, seeing how far Alt Maverick came out in front of the Haas driver. And since Everbrid Mike has been pulling away from Ryan B, he pulled a half a second in these last 2 laps, so Everbrid Mike is doing very well for himself as of right now. Ryan B, he's been saving up his ERS these last few laps, but Everbrid Mike, once again, not into the pit lane. Ryan B is going to be heading into the pit lane here on lap number 6 on to lap number 7 to get I would imagine, a fresh set of mediums. So Everbrid Mike looking for a fresh set of tires, for our fresher tires towards the end of the race for the McLaren driver and for the McLaren team. So let's see how that plays out for him. But as of right now, it's a McLaren 1-2 up at the front of the race. Major Falcon dropped from KMK as Resify sets fastest lap of the race. A 142.279 for the Haas driver, trying to close in on Ryan B and Alt Maverick, but Resify in front of Ryan B here.
Yeah, Mike, why do you do these things? Mike's on for his fight, like he's good racer this season, and he stays out. It's like he doesn't want one, but hey, maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he's playing for that safety car and it'll work out, but that extra lap staying out by Ryan has cost him a position there because he would have been ahead of Resify. If you think about how many seconds he's lost, he was, what, a second and a half behind Resify, 2 seconds? Resify's pit was like 6 point something, so he's lost about 4 seconds by staying out, 3 or 4 seconds just by staying out. And
Yeah.
you thought, P2 with Maverick being in P1, like, obviously that's not great for him, but it does put them level instead of being behind in the championship. But as long as he can find himself near the front, the points gap isn't going to be too major. But as we're getting down to these last few races, every point counts now.
Yeah, exactly. But as of right now, if Iver and Mike were to come into the pit lane right now, I think he would come out just, I want to say just behind Ryan B. But I'm not entirely sure. Iver and Mike looking over to the left side of the circuit. I think he's going to be in on this lap. So on lap number 7, going on to lap number 8, Iver and Mike is going to be into the pit lane. Quite conservative through that pit entry there. So Cam K will assume the lead of the race, followed by Major Falcon, and then Storm, who's passing his teammate, iConnex, who's heading into the pit lane to get off those soft tires. The same strategy as Iver, Bryn, Mike. But Alt Maverick will assume the net race lead here, and will be up into P4 with a pretty decent gap to the drivers behind him. 141.845 for IRT Resify, who's coming out in front of Iver, Bryn, Mike. Iver, Mike. It's going to be close between Ryan B and the McLaren driver, but Iver and Mike is going to be just in behind. So Ryan B was able to claw back that 1.8 second deficit that he had to Iver through the pit stops, through the DRS, while following IRT Resify, who's really low on ERS. So Ryan B could be putting himself into a net P2 here. So the strategy overall didn't end up playing off too bad in the long run. But they are going to be starting to come up to a little bit of traffic, and Slayer, who's a second and a half in front of them, makes a little bit of a mistake into turn 5, and through turn 6 hits the wall as well. So the Red Bull driver seemingly struggling here. But then Alt Maverick, 4 seconds up in front of Slayer, and now catching Storm and Major Falcon, who are not exactly on pace with Cam K, who's in the lead of the race right now.
Yeah, and Slayer, who was almost a bit of a thorn in Maverick's side at Mexico, has actually ended up being an enormous help to him, because he's got this train behind him of the drivers chasing him. And you say that worked out for Ryan, but I really don't think it did, because he'd have been ahead of this group. He would not be stuck behind them. He'd be hunting down Maverick, who's stuck behind these cars ahead of him. Ryan's like cost himself so much time just by staying out. He's losing time every lap to these cars behind him, and the fact that Mike came out just behind him shows just how quick he's lapping at the moment, because Maverick had no right to come out that close.
Yeah, Alt Maverick making his way past Storm, and I'm sure he would be making his way. Get all 3 of them! Past, Major Falcon up in front of him now, going down towards turn 3, but Ryan B looking to the outside of Resify into the first corner here. Haas and Mercedes going side by side. Ryan B gets pushed a little bit wide by Resify. Iver and Mike in the background looking to take advantage of these two battles. Resify really low on ERS. He's going to have to defend with all of his might to keep these two drivers behind, but Ryan B with the ERS, with the DRS, looking to make these positions up and try and get into that clean air for this this stint early on here. Ryan B up into P5, Resify at P6, with Iver and Mike staying in P7. Unable to make that gain on IRT Resify. So now a little bit of a DRS train is forming here. Slayer just in behind these guys. He's going to be falling by the wayside very soon. But up in the front, all Maverick
all over the place.
Yeah,
I just saw him hit the wall again, and Mike needs to get past him quick, which I think he will in the straight, because he can't afford to let Ryan get that far ahead. Mike looks like the faster driver, potentially the fastest driver in the field right now, because he's lapping quick being in this train. So it'd be interesting. I wanted to get past Resify just to see what happens to him and Ryan, because it seems like a good little scrap there. Ever since lap 1 they've been scrapping.
Yeah, Alt Maverick was unable to make the move on Major Falcon heading into turn 3, but he still has the time over Ryan B, just around 3 seconds, so he does have time to burn here, but I'm sure he would be wanting to make his way past Major Falcon as soon as possible. So heading through turn 18 and through turn 19 now as the Ferrari driver with that DRS, I'm sure he would be able to make that move. Major Falcon defending it the most he possibly can, heading over to the right side of the circuit, trying to break the slipstream connection there, but Alt Maverick is just going to move over to the left, and he's going to get that move done into turn 1. Is going to get it done even before start-finish line there. Major Falcon a little bit on the defensive line, not moving fully over to the racing line there. Compromise him a little bit, but Alt Maverick's going to be up into P2 now, 5.5 seconds behind Cam K, and looking to close that gap down. here on lap number 10. We have a yellow flag in the final sector. I'm not sure who that is for. I think that's for Solar.
Is it? Oh. On the map I thought it was a McLaren, but I'm going to guess. Everyone looks fine. It is Solar. So is DNF.
Yeah, Solar retires in the pit lane there. So, yeah. Just looking around the rest of the field, yeah, obviously we just saw Alt Maverick make his way past Major Falcon. Marty making his way past Ariel Jordan after a few laps of battling between these two drivers. Ariel Jordan with a mean snap of oversteer. Well. Yeah, a mean snap of over the steer there for the Mercedes driver heading through turns 3 and through turn 4. But Marty heading through 5 and 6 looks pretty clean. Ariel Jordan nicks the curb there at turn 6. He's going to throw him just a little bit wide, but he's going to have to try and stay with Marty because this battle could be quite crucial when it comes to the end of the season in that constructors fight. But looking back towards the midfield type area, Storm and Major Falcon really close to each other, but now Ryan B, Resify, Iverbrand Mike, all these guys are onto the back of this two-person train, and now it's made it a 5-car train up here for the battle for P3. And these drivers on the medium tires, they're not going to be coming in for at least another 5, 6, maybe 7 laps.
No, and Ryan B needs to get past soon, but even if he does, like, I mean, they're not too far off. I don't want to say it's too far off Maverick, but the way Maverick's lapping, Ryan B, if he doesn't get past soon, which he doesn't seem to have the straight line speed, he's using the ERS, he's going to go for a double move. This is really important for the title. He's got past both of them. He's going to be under threat now, though, coming into turn 3. After this corner, he's going to be under threat down this straight. Hopefully these people scrap a little bit and cost time. That's what he'll be hoping is, my lord, they have done. Dear me. And Maverick's now going to see that Ryan B is the next car behind him, and now we see who's the most composed out of these two drivers. As Mike's making his way through as well, and IRT's into the wall. I don't know why I'm calling him IRT. It'd be easier to call him Reservoir, wouldn't it?
But yeah, Ryan B was able to make both moves on Major Falcon and Storm into the first corner, now able to pull out that gap. So Major Falcon defending with everything that he has, really trying to keep onto these positions, which I'm not really sure he's doing. Storm, I think, was the smarter of the two drivers. Just let Iverbrand Mike through up towards turn 3, not trying to battle too hard, doesn't want to lose too much time, but Major Falcon is trying to keep IRT Resify, is trying to keep these guys close for the Alpine driver's second stint. Resify looking to get the better exit through turn 12, a little bit of a slide from the rear end, another little bit of a slide, turns off the ERS, turns it back on as we head through turn 13. Iverbrand Mike right on the back of these two, but Resify is even closer to Major Falcon, and they've lost 4 seconds on this lap alone to Ryan B, which is a little bit shocking. Iverbrand Mike has hit the back of a few cars here on this lap, so I'm not sure if he has damage. Resify has been onto the wall almost uncountable amount of times on this
Mike's
lap
get
as well.
He's losing so much time. I've been watching this from Mike's point of view, and Resify's all over the place. I don't know what, he's got the pace, but he just seems all over the place. He's locking up nearly every corner. Don't get that when you're an ABS fraud like me, but I think Mike's going to get them both. He seems faster, and he's going to need this for the podium, and it's going to go 3 wide now. Major Falcon was defending Resify, and he's lost pole positions, and now they're going to go 2 on into the first corner.
Ooh, it's going to be close between the McLaren and the Haas. Iverbrand Mike is able to keep it on track on the outside, but now he's derating going into turn 2 here, and he's not going to have the DRS advantage. That's going to be with Resify, but it's a better exit there for Iverbrand Mike. He gains a little bit of time, just around a 10.5, and is able to pull out that gap that he needs to keep this, to keep P4 here out on track. So this is going to be net P3 for Iverbrand Mike. So on for a podium here as it stands, but he still has a 4.8 second gap to Ryan B, and he looked more comfortable at the beginning of the stint when he's behind all those drivers. Let's see what he can do in clean air for the McLaren driver. Ryan B in clean air, 3.3 seconds, and has been closed, or I'm not entirely sure that gap between the top two, the net top two, 3.2 seconds. Ryan B closing a 10th on this lap already. Alt Maverick has gained quite a bit of time on Cam K, just around 5.5 seconds for the Ferrari driver. That gap is now 1.2 as they head through the middle sector, and now down towards the final sector, split in just a corner, or in a corner's time. I don't think he's going to be able to get the
with the alt strategy here, like, in most cases we're looking at Cam K now thinking, like, if a safety car comes out, he's golden. The issue is, he can't go into another set of mediums.
Yeah. Well, Slayer's already pit for softs, which is an interesting decision for him. Because
like,
obviously, those mediums were not working.
If a safety car comes out now, and you're Maverick, like, you stay out, surely. Because if Cam K is going to pit, he has to go into the hards or the softs, which then he'll have to pit again if he's on the softs. Which he's coming in now, actually.
Pitting.
What?
Maybe a two-stop? That doesn't make any sense.
Why is he coming in now?
I have no idea.
He's putting on the hards. I don't think Cam K wants to win the championship. I know it was rare that it was going to happen anyway. I don't think he wants to finish high up. I'm so confused by this strategy, but he was in a great spot overall. He just had to hold them off for as long as he could. And if a safety car came out, he was alright, but he's opted to slap on the hards on lap 12. Well, Maverick will be loving it. He's going to lose no time behind Cam K now. So that's perfect for him, and I'm just a bit confused as to why he thought that was the best idea.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but anyways, Alt Maverick still leading this race. Ryan B is trying to close that gap. It's going down very slowly, but those two seem to be pretty equally matched up at the front of the field. Ivory Mike has not exactly been closing down Ryan B. That gap is extended by over a second and a half in this last lap. So Ivory Mike is struggling, maybe has a little bit of front wing damage after contact, trying to get through that traffic. Resify P4 unable to make his way past Ivory Mike, but he looks to be closer on this current lap. Storm 4 seconds behind, yet the pit, as well as Major Falcon, who's a second and a half behind the Aston Martin. Eduk on the fresher medium tires, who pit with Resify on that, on lap 4. Eduk currently P7 trying to make his way past Major Falcon. I'm sure it won't be that difficult for the Williams driver. 5-lap tire advantage for him. Cam K on those fresh hards in P8, followed by Marty in P9. 10-lap old medium tires pitting on lap 2 after that spin in the first lap. Ariel Jordan P7, followed by iConnex, who's going to overtake the Mercedes driver as Resify and Ivory Mike are switching positions going down into turn 1. We kind of expected that with how long that straight is, and with the DRS zone there going to turn 1. He looked closer going through turn 16. iConnex makes his way past Ariel Jordan, but now watching on board with this battle once again. Ivory Mike has the DRS, using his the little amount of ERS that he has in his storage, and Resify is going to have to concede once again. He brakes quite late, locks up that left front, but is able to get it stopped in time before he slams into the back of Ivory Mike. Another right front lockup for the Haas driver, but he's going to keep it in P4 for the time being. Ariel Jordan and iConnex swapping positions once again, and the Mercedes driver is going to keep P10 for the time being. iConnex, a big slide on the exit of turn 3 there, but is able to keep P11 for the time being, and then MCR currently is in the final points position on those 8-lap old medium tires, currently in P12. So both Red Bulls, both Alfa Romeos are the two drivers, are the 4 drivers outside the points.
Yeah, and pointing out with iConnex, him and McDutchface, we said at the start how they'd underfueled. Right now, it's not going to plan. They're in that situation where there might actually not be a safety car at Baku, and they're in a bit of trouble if that's the case, because they've both been on yellow since lap 2. So they're probably on very low fuel. It's almost at the point where even with a safety car, they might still be struggling. So we'll see what happens there. But as things go, they're running out of fuel before the end of this race, and we look back to the front, and the gap, nothing separates these two, and it's been the case for the most of the season. The gap just keeps going between 3 seconds and 2.8 between Ryan and Maverick. No one faster than the other. Mike will have the fresher tyres, as him and Resify just trade again. We're going to see these two all over the shop at one point. This will either end in wing damage, or hopefully not, just a good clean battle to the end. But Mike, if I remember, stayed out long enough. He does have fresher tyres than everyone else in the field who's on his strategy, because he stayed out the longest, as did Ryan with Maverick. So Ryan does have fresher tyres than Maverick, be it all by a lap or two, but at Baku, those lap or two extra laps, they do matter a lot, because towards the end of this race, tyre wear is going to kick in quite a lot if we don't get a safety car. As Jordan's coming into the pit now, he's coming out of the pits actually, he's just pitted and he's on to a set of mediums. So, wait, was he on the mediums?
No, we just pit into a fresh set, I think. Oh.
So he's hoping for a safety car then.
Yeah, I would safely assume that. So, yeah, currently, right now, Alt Maverick leads the race 2.8 seconds from Ryan B. IRT Resify 5.5 seconds behind, just making his way past Ivory Mike, and Ivory Mike struggling here on this lap. He has a little bit of ERS, but not much, not enough to contend with Resify, who's able to save up a little bit behind the McLaren driver. But I think Ivory Mike must have damage of some sort, because he looks so good at the sauce on the beginning, or at the beginning of that medium stint. A little bit of contact with a few other drivers possibly gave him a slight amount of wing damage. But currently currently P5, 6.1 seconds behind P4 and Everburn Mike is Eduk, followed by Storm 1.5 seconds back. Cam K on the fresh hards 1.2 seconds back is followed by Marty on those 12 lap old medium tires, just showing how bad those hards can be. Marty really challenging Cam K. Here, let's see what is going to happen down towards turn 1. The DRS for the Ferrari driver. Marty has enough ERS to possibly defend this going towards turn 3. Cam K doesn't have the ERS to even defend it going down towards turn 1. Backs off a little bit, just allows Marty the racing line and the position. A Storm picks up a 3-second time penalty. The first driver to do so here in Division 4 at Azerbaijan in P6. Still yet to pit, looking to make it onto those soft tires. Everburn Mike, though, I said he might be struggling here, but on the here at turn 3 on lap number 16, makes the move around the outside of Resify.
Yeah, these two drivers, like, this is a fight for a podium between two drivers that seem very even on pace. I actually think Resify probably has a bit more pace, but he has a few more mistakes in him from what it looks like. And I just want to point out, I know it's all down to preference and everything, and I can't talk because of how the assist that I use. But doing Baku with no assist, I don't even think Mike uses the line. It is extremely impressive to be able to race with no assist. Like, I know it's down to whoever wants to use what at the end of the day, but a track like this, no assists at all, I have to give Mike credit, because how he's this fast with no assist, I think he's better than half the people in D1 and 2 that use assist, because I think it's just such a difficult thing.
Yeah, personally, Energetic, Resify's name popped up at the top, and then Energetic's name popped up at the bottom. Energetics, did he crash on the straight?
Ryan B's getting DRS and pole in the AI car.
Crashed in the pit lane. I think he got reset the track, which is interesting. So, no safety car yet.
Oh!
It Storm's out!
Storm's just lost it and he's hit the wall! Is that going to be a safety car?
Safety car!
It is! Oh, baby!
Oh, that safety car would have been perfect for Storm if he wasn't the one who caused it. So, Eduk's in, Marty is going to be in, Cam K in, Major Falcon. It would have been great for Cam K if he hadn't pit yet. Well, no, he would have been past. He would have been past the pit lane, I think.
Yeah, and we say that this will now. He can go onto the medium, so maybe he did this on purpose.
Or he can go onto the softs, really.
Okay,
yeah.
But I mean, will they go to the end? I mean, they will, but they'll be terrible after like lap 5, surely.
Well, it'll still be better than what 10 lap old mediums as of right now.
Yeah, possibly.
So
as Maverick and Ryan had to stay out. I mean, they're not going to lose time over it, I'd assume.
I'm sure they could come into the pits either way.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they have a gap to Ivor, I think. It's close, though.
Mike's one of those people that might stay out, you know.
Yeah.
Mike's one of those that might stay out.
If he stays out in Maverick pits, I think Maverick, well, hoping, well, alright, let's just look at who's pit. Eduk pits onto fresh mediums, Marty fresh softs, Cam K and Major Falcon do the same. Ariel Jordan stayed out, I want to say.
No, Jordan went onto the mediums again, so he's probably going to go back. He has to pit, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to go onto the softs, I'd assume. Which, that's really hit him out, because he could have gone
onto the softs right away.
Yeah, his strategy's not paid off there, necessarily, but you can't see it coming. You never know when it's going to come. Polypole's, he's a fast driver. This brings him back into the race, at least.
He's not even in the lobby right now.
Oh, has he left the lobby? Oh, his Ghost is doing great then. McDutchface, as we were saying about the fuel, McDutchface and Connects will be so happy that this has come out, because they look done for. Both our challenges are in, and I think the most interesting part about all this is they had the same pace, and now the gap is no longer going to be 3 seconds. They're going to be right next to each other. This is huge for the title. This could be the most important 5 or 6 laps of the championship.
And we have split strategy between the two. All Maverick onto the softs, Ryan B onto the mediums. Resify is pit for the mediums, and Iverbird Mike is pit for the softs, and got a new front wing. So
why is he gone for the mediums, bro? I was hoping to see like a last 5 lap scrap. I'm confused as to why he's gone for mediums. And this actually brings into play, depending on how fast Mike can get past Resify, Mike could go for P2 here.
Yeah, he could challenge Ryan B on those mediums. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens here at the end of this race.
I think Marty, Eduk's on the mediums. Has he stayed out, or has he?
No, Eduk pit on 2 mediums.
So he's a quick driver. He'll be getting through. Cam K is quick. This midfield's going to be chaotic now because of the medium drivers that have kind of slotted in the middle. Jordan stayed out.
Oh my gosh. That's
Why is
unbelievable. All right. Definitely not talking about other divisions right now. Anyways.
No. So he started on the softs. He's pitted twice this race for medium. So he's going to the end on these mediums. So it's actually worked out okay for him. I don't think it's actually changed much, but he's pitted twice this race. Maverick will be. I don't know why Ryan's gone for the mediums, to be honest. But I think maybe he's hoping them softs die off so much at the end of the race to where the mediums can catch back up. If so, we know how strong the DRS and slipstream is on the last straight. We could see a last lap challenge for the win potentially. Mike's going to be really interesting with how fast he's been with the medium runner in front of him, Resify, who also has a penalty. So Mike is already in P3 essentially.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting, especially with the front two being who they are. Mike sorted himself in there as well. This all comes down to how fast those softs are in the last couple of laps, and whether Maverick can make the most out of it early on, which I think he will do.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting down to the end of the race. I'm sure you've covered all the topics. Obviously, all Maverick on those softs. He's gonna have a really good restart if he, up at the front. He's gonna get that good restart. Ryan B and Resify are gonna have to depend on a good reaction to all Maverick getting off the line, so to say. I've ridden Mike P4 on those softs. He's gonna be quite close up there. Eduk on those mediums. Right now, the third on track out of the medium drivers, so I would imagine he'd fall down the order unless he can defend. But Marty Kamke are going to be right on him. Marty Kamke, both very, very aggressive drivers, able to make the moves in the past, but mistakes have hindered their seasons so far. Major Falcon P8, Ariel Jordan in P9. I'm surprised. Well, he stayed out on track, and I'm sure. Well, he kind of has to because Marty P6, all Maverick P1 with Ryan B. P9 and himself in P9. So the constructors is really going towards Ferrari as of right now. So Ariel Jordan really just has to keep as many places on track as possible. Just hope for penalties and incidents up in front of him. Iconex MCR P10, Iconex P11, Slayer in P12, and then McDutchface, who's closing up to the back of the field right now in P13, and Polypols, who's obviously not in the lobby right now on those 5-lap old mediums down in P14. So I think we'll be heading in on the next lap. Depends on if McDutchface can close up to the back of the field.
Because Polypols is technically in the race still. It'll probably stay out, and this is brilliant for the soft runners. They'll be hoping it stays out, to be honest. Although Maverick has started leading, so I'm wondering whether it's telling him.
Well, it won't say until the final sector split. So
yeah, Ryan at the moment, I think he might be regretting his decision to go on the mediums. Especially if it stays out an extra lap, which I think it's going to. If so, this is looking great for the soft runners. They will still, they won't be great on the last 2 laps, don't get me wrong. But
we could be in on
will
this
be better. I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to stay
well,
out
I've seen it before where it says safety car in, like at lap 20, where the DRS detection point is, or at turn 20, because like that fake closes up. But I don't.
No, we're getting an extra lap.
No, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get one more lap.
Yeah, this is great for the soft runners actually. So, I mean, Ryan B's gonna have to pull off a miracle here to be able to stay with Maverick, and then because Maverick's looked quick. They were equal on the same tyres, so you'd assume Maverick's gonna pull away, bar any mistakes, and then it's just gonna be down to how fast those softs die off. But I can't see him dying off that much.
Yeah. Especially with so many laps behind the safety car. Obviously, they're going to wear a little bit, but they're not going to wear a ton. So, yeah.
This if Ryan can catch him, it's literally going to be the last lap, and then it's just going to be down to how much DRS and slipstream that last straight can affect, which would be brilliant for us. But my bet would right now, barring any mistakes, I think Maverick should have this in the bag, and then the real battle is going to be. I mean, Mike. It depends what he wants to go for. If he wants to go for second, he has to get past Resify. If he wants just a podium, Resify's got a penalty, so Mike's got that. He doesn't need to risk anything. but he is on the mediums as well. So the faster he can get past Resify, I think Ryan's actually got to worry more about Mike than Maverick now, because with the championship, he can't afford to lose anything less than P2.
Yeah. Because that will put Alt Maverick into the lead of the championship going into the final 2 races. So
Who's got fastest lap? Oh, well, we'll see it soon, actually. I'm going to assume we'll get some more fastest laps. Which is another thing, I guess. Ryan B probably can't get the fastest lap of the race on the mediums.
yeah. Just looking currently, fastest lap is Resify, yeah, 41.845. So
You'd assume Maverick might be able to get it on the soft, depending on how worn they've been behind these safety car laps.
yeah. Well, as of right now,
interesting.
my prediction from the beginning of the race is completely correct. So,
I mean, at this point, is it worth doing a good old little Verstappen at Monza for Ryan? Make it look like an accident.
oh well. Let's see how this is going to plan out. Ryan be sitting very, very close to the back of Alt Maverick heading through turn 19. Just have to wait for the safety car to get to the pit lane to get it going. You can't overtake the safety car, and you can't make any overtakes until you pass the start-finish line. So Alt Maverick going very, very quick here, over 110 miles an hour for the Ferrari driver, weaving, trying to get that temperature. Ryan B just waiting, and Alt Maverick goes. Ryan B doesn't get the greatest of starts, but Ryan B is able to keep it close enough, and Resify is going to stay P3 with Iverbryn Mike, followed by Edok, Marty, Cam K, Major Falcon, who's Ariel Jordan is making a move. Ooh, Resify deep into the first corner there.
That's horrible for Ryan. That's great for Mike. And Mike now has a potential P1 or 2 in his hands.
Yeah, Iverbryn Mike possibly looking to challenge here, but Ryan B looking to challenge Alt Maverick, the leader of the race. It's going to be those top 2 for the top 2 in the championship. Iverbryn Mike, P3, followed by Edok, Marty, Resify in P3, who is challenged by Cam K. Resify, another big lockup there into turn 3, but is able to keep it on track this time. Those brakes must have not been warmed up nearly enough for the McLaren driver, but it's Jordan, followed by Major Falcon, MCR, and McDutchface, and then Slayer in that final points position. So let's see how these gaps are going to close out. McDutchface looking to the inside of MCR for turn 5, but nowhere near close enough to make that overtake. But Iverbryn Mike struggling a little bit here, but obviously on this first lap of the restart, they're just waiting for the tires to come up to temperature, waiting for your car to come up to temperature, and you're going to be able to get closer to the drivers in front of you as the stint goes on. Ryan B a little bit wide there at turn 12. There's a yellow flag in behind. That's iConnect, who's not out of the race, just must have gotten a little bit of damage, gone a little bit deep into the castle section there, just unable to turn out of it. But Alt Maverick up in the front, 7/10 is the gap. We're not going to have DRS on the next lap, but we will going towards turn 3 on lap 23, so still DRS is a little whiles out. Yeah, it's going to be crucial because Iverbryn Mike, he needs to catch up if he wants to get the second place. Ryan B needs to push with everything to keep Alt Maverick close enough, and then Edok's going to have to try and keep these positions, but I think Marty's going to be the next driver looking to make a move. Up into P4 goes the Ferrari driver. He has the straight line speed advantage in the slipstream. It turns off the ERS. It comes out of the slipstream. Alt Maverick fastest lap of the race, a 141.446. Marty looks to the inside of turn 1, is able to get that move done on Edok there, and now he's going to be looking. He's going to have that clean air to close up to Iverbryn Mike. He still has 50% ERS, which is a good amount going into the final stages of this race.
Yeah, and this is a crucial lap for Ryan. I'm surprised Maverick's not pulled away as much as he has. Maybe those softs did wear a lot more than we thought they did on the safety car laps. And we've been criticising Ryan for the mediums. Was this actually a really good choice? Because the softs are all going to get worse, and if Maverick's not able to pull out DRS in these 2 laps, then once DRS is activated, you'd think Ryan's going to have the advantage, which none of us saw coming. Mike can't even keep within a second. So, at the moment, I think beyond everyone else's belief, it looks like the mediums might have been the best choice.
Yeah, mediums. Well, they're gonna survive. They don't really wear here. They don't lose too much pace, even if you're gonna put them on for 20 laps. When you pit from around lap 6 on the softs, right at the beginning of this, of the race. Be
insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
This is gonna be insane, mate. This is actually gonna be mad, you know.
It's gonna be close. This could really. Possibly, I don't want to say it could possibly decide the championship. If Ryan B gets in front of Alt Maverick here and wins this race in front of Alt Maverick, who finishes P2. That's going to be a 14-point gap heading into the final 2 races, and Alt Maverick's going to have to claw that back. He's going to have to finish in front of Ryan B in these last 2 races, but Ryan B looks close enough here on lap number 22, going onto lap 23, and he's going to have DRS going up towards turn 3, barring a huge mistake from the Mercedes driver. Ryan B, fastest lap of the race, a 141.359 for the Mercedes driver. Iverson Mike, he's not close enough right now to get DRS. He's using his DRS, but he's still not close enough, or he wasn't within the DRS range, so these top 2 are going to be looking to pull away. Marty closed a little bit, but not enough. Eduk dropping away from Marty, and Rezify is going to have DRS. Cam K dropped out of DRS to the Haas driver, so Rezify looking to resurrect his race, if you want to say. Looking to the inside of turn 3 of Eduk. Oh, he hits the wall there, and he's not going to be able to make up that position, but now he's definitely going to have damage. Is the Haas driver. Emplate isn't gone for him, but he's definitely going to be struggling with the few laps left in this race. Ryan B right on the back of Alt Maverick here, out of turn 6, heading into turn 7. These are the opportunities that decide championships. We saw it in Singapore. Alt Maverick folded under the pressure, lost the position to Ryan B on the last lap of the race, picked up that time penalty, and now we have another 1-2 for these top 2 in the championship. This could really decide the championship here. And
it's worth saying as well, like, Maverick has been faultless for the majority of this race, and we remember at the start of the season everyone was moaning and they were complaining that Maverick were getting the benefits of the safety cars all the time. We've seen over the last month how's karma started to come the other way around. Like, he started to get hurt by these safety cars a bit, and I think it's time that people maybe stop giving him a bit of stick, because he's holding on in there. He's doing everything he can. He's shown that he deserves to be in a title fight. Like, nobody can use safety cars against him, because he has been hurt by them now, and it's happened here, and he's still holding on to the pace. I genuinely think this is going to come down to the last lap, you know. Maverick will not be easy to overtake, I can promise you that.
Yeah, and Iverburn Mike is also starting to bring himself into this. He had that DRS on Ryan B on this lap, but he's completely out of DRS. He's gonna have to really push, really pick up the pace all by himself, just raw pace without DRS, if he wants to close up to these guys. It's within 8/10 of a second, but he's running out of that DRS. Ryan B closing up to the back of Alt Maverick.
Maverick and Ryan crash.
Alt Maverick looking to try and keep this position, or trying to keep P1 here on lap number 24. There's still 2.5 laps to go here in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for division number 4. Iverburn Mike dropping away very slightly. He doesn't have quite the raw pace to stick with the top 2. Ryan B on those mediums, those soft tires are going to start to fall away, and Ryan B on those mediums, he's really going to have to take advantage if he wants to get this race win.
This is insane. We're yo-yoing on pace now. It's so strange. Like, Maverick, he struggled on the laps that you'd think he'd have had the benefit, and now then he started. It's like the soft suddenly found some life in them. But this is going to be the window where the mediums start to take over, and he's going to have DRS, ERS. It's all gonna, everything ended in S. It's all gonna carry on. And Ryan's so close to the wall, and Maverick's holding on. He's racing so well. Mike's half a second behind. Mike's on for a possible win. This is crazy. Marty's, I think, out of it. I mean, Ferrari at this point, I think they might have just won the Constructors' title with this race. Possibly. Obviously, it's not well and done yet, but you think that they're in the driver's seat. But this is about the Drivers' Championship. We've got first and second. In first and second, we've got a yellow flag somewhere. Jordan's gone.
Ooh, that's huge for the constructor. Well, not necessarily huge, but that could decide the constructors as well. We're on to the penultimate lap here. Alt Maverick shows that red flashing light to Ryan B. Ryan B makes a little bit of a mistake out of turn 1 there on the traction. Iverburn Mike is now going to possibly have a shot at the current championship leader as of right now. Yeah, Iverburn, he doesn't have enough ERS, and he wasn't close enough. He didn't have the greatest of exits out of turn 2, but that keeps Ryan B behind for at least one more DRS straight. So, is Ryan B going to take the opportunity to make his way past? Ooh, into turn 1 on the next lap.
The drop-off on these softs is so big. On the last lap, what's it going to be like? Because it's all going to be down to the exit on that last corner, surely. On turn 18, is it?
16, I believe.
Really?
Out of the S's?
Well, you know which one I mean. You know which one I mean. The exit out of that going onto the straight. If Ryan can get a good exit, but then if Mike can get a... Oh, this is going to be... Ooh. I think we're going to see 3 cars going down the final straight with a potential to win this.
Iverburn Mike is getting closer through the middle sector. A little bit of a mistake at the top of the castle section there through turn 11 and through turn 12, opens up that gap a little bit, but Alt Maverick up at the front. He doesn't have much ERS. Ryan B has a lot more, almost double the ERS that Alt Maverick does there. So in P1, as we head out of turn 16 here, through turn 17, and about to head through turns 18 and through turns 19, Alt Maverick, Ryan B, Iverburn Mike. That's not the two of the top three I'm sure most people would have expected in this race, but Iverburn Mike has showed up here in Azerbaijan looking to get that podium. He's not in the slipstream, but he's going to have the DRS heading down towards turn 1. Ryan B used a little bit of ERS. Alt Maverick has been using his ERS, shows that red flashing light to Ryan B. But here we go, onto the final lap into turn 1. Alt Maverick goes a little bit defensive, but is able to get it back to the racing line. 2.5 tenths of a second separate the top two in this race. Heading into turn 2 and onto the second the first opportunity to overtake on this lap. Ryan B looking in the slipstream. He's in the he has the DRS. Alt Maverick, he defends, but now Ryan B looking around the outside. Alt Maverick going to keep the position on the inside. Ryan B goes a little bit deep, and he's not going to be able to get that overtake done. He's going to have a much better shot heading down towards turn 1. Pulty Pulls has been disqualified because he's not using more than 2 tire compounds. But
he's going to get another bite at the cherry, though. He's going to get this last straight. Is going to be deciding the race. This is insane, and that moment there, I understand the need to go for it. I think Ryan, he got very lucky there that he didn't go into the wall, because that was very much Maverick's corner. It's so hard to go around the outside in that corner, and I think he's got quite lucky he didn't get past, because I wouldn't want to be first going into this last corner. I'd want to be second, honestly. And I think I hope Mike becomes a part of this, but I don't think he will. I think it's going to be down to Ryan and Maverick, and we're going to get a photo finish. And I'm saying it now, this race decides the championship.
I'd like to say Marty's also closed up to the back of these guys. He's going to have DRS if he gets a good exit. But here we go.
Oh, my Lord.
Between the top two, 3 tenths of a second out of turn 16. Maverick gets a really good exit, but it's not really going to matter in the end. Alt Maverick using all of his ERS through the final
He's got
3 corners.
Oh, my Lord.
Ryan B's going to have the run. Surely Ryan B wins this race. Alt Maverick moves left, moves right, moves left once again. But it's going to be Ryan B, I think, to take this race victory. That's going to be heartbreaking for Alt Maverick there. Ryan B is going to take the race win, followed by Alt Maverick. Iverburn Mike is going to take a 3rd place. Marty picks up P4 in a decent race there from him after that spin on lap 1. Eduk is going to take a P5, a really lonely P5, to be honest. Camp K, P6, Slayer, P7, driver to watch, P7. McDutch Race, P8, MCR, MCR P8, McDutch Face P9, or Major Falcon P9, McDutch Face P10. IRT Resify is going to take home P11. And then Ariel Jordan's going to pick up P12 and the final points position there. But man, Ryan B, ooh, man. Alt Maverick is going to be kicking himself. He's going to be so mad that safety car came out.
That is insane. D4 put on an absolute crack of a race there, and Mike as well with a podium. That was insane racing. There was a point when I thought Mike was taking that win. I thought Mike was going to rob that win somehow. Then going into turn 3 on the last lap, we saw Maverick and Ryan B going side by side. I was like, this can't end well. And fair play to Maverick, because he did everything he could to hold Ryan back, and I think Ryan in the end just waited for the last straight. But that was both drivers showing that they're fighting for this championship, and it's not over. It's not over at all. And going into Japan, this is going to be insane.
14 points is the gap, I believe, between the top two. Ooh.
Fastest lap as well for Ryan B.
No, Resify got it on that last lap.
Oh, did he steal it? Oh, on the last lap? Okay.
So, yeah, so 14 points between the top two now.
Well, so that means Ryan B, this isn't the way you want to do it, but as long as he gets the fastest lap, he could settle for second on the next 2 races, yeah?
Yeah, technically.
Like, he doesn't have to. He has like the space to chill a little bit if he wants to. Oh, this is going to be mad. That was a very important race. Thank you, D4. That was brilliant.
Yeah, well, Ryan B takes the race win here in Azerbaijan, followed by Alt Maverick, Iverburn Mike. Marty will take a P4, and a really good step there for Ferrari in the constructor standing. Eduk P5, KMK P6, followed by Slayer, MCR, Major Falcon, McDutch Face, and then IRT Resify. After a solid race, pole position, fastest lap, unable to get it done in the race there. Ariel Jordan will take the final points position and will be the final finisher as well. iConnect, Storm, Energetic, Solar, and Noah J, as well as Pulty Poles, unable to finish all 26 laps there, and the final distance So yeah, that was Azerbaijan for Division 4 there. A little bit anticlimactic in the end, I would say. There weren't as many safety cars as I was expecting, but
I tell you
oh,
what, there was. Ibo's just put it in the chat, and I just remembered. On lap one, Marty was taken out, and I remember saying at the time that it was Ryan B, and Marty's Maverick's teammate. So this isn't over yet. There's a chance that gets recorded, and I mean, Maverick will be begging Marty to report that if that happened.
yeah, just looking at it again, let's see what happens here into turn 1. Ooh, wait. On stream, Ryan B was nowhere near him, but that could be lag contact as well. So,
I don't know if it was like a turn one or something.
yeah, it was turn 1. I guess on their screens, Ryan B was a lot closer to Marty than he was on the stream. It might have been Eduk though as well, around the outside. Yeah, it was Eduk into turn 1, around the outside. So, no penalty opportunity there for Alt Maverick.
Oh, that's insane. I need to
All
go
right,
sweat back.
let's get the drivers in for an interview if you're willing to stay. Yeah, all right, let's get Alt Maverick in here. We need to get Ivory or Mike in here. If I can find his name, that is. Oh, is he appearing offline? It's unfortunate. All right, Ivor. There we go, and then Ryan B. 1994. All right, let's add those guys into the party. And I'll let you take over interviews this time.
Oh, okay, right. Who we got in? We got Maverick in. Shall we do Maverick first?
Yeah, let's do it.
Maverick, are you here? You good?
Yeah, I'm here.
First of all, I just want to say commiserations because that was just very unlucky with the safety car. And I think I was saying on stream how like you got a lot of stick for the safety cars helping you at the start of the season. I think it's come round now, and it's been non-stop bad luck for like the last few races with a safety car for you. From our point of view, you didn't step a foot wrong that race. How does it feel for your confidence now going into the last two races, knowing essentially you both need to be a win?
Um, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, there's not much I can say about today. Um, I think mostly it's just that, the gap goes up. It doesn't go down in terms of where I'm at. So, um, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just speechless. That's it. I got nothing.
yeah, it's a tough hit for sure. It's a tough hit. I know, like today you look just rapid. Is there any point looking back at it now? I know it's easy to say in hindsight. Are you happy still with the decision to pit for the softs? Because I think me and Maverick at the time, not me and Packer at the time, sorry, we actually thought Ryan picking the mediums was a bad idea. We thought you'd quite easily be able to break the DRS by the time the two laps are done. Do you now regret picking the softs, or do you still think that was the best choice for you at the time?
Um, uh, Once again, I don't know. I knew that the with how far the one Alfa Romeo was, and it was an AI car, I knew that we were only going to have about 6 laps of racing. So I knew that the softs could do those 6 laps without falling off. Um, but I think it was just as the safety car was coming in, I thought, but I only did 5 laps on these in the beginning, and they were already losing time to whoever was behind me. So if anything, it is going to come down to the last lap, and that's exactly what happened. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, really. But yeah, I
Yeah,
still don't
it's
know.
hard work.
I still don't know what I could have done different. I feel like I made every decision correct. It's just unfortunate. That's it.
Yeah, I think the one thing that saved Ryan is those first 2 laps of racing was crucial from the safety car of breaking DRS, and that just unfortunately wasn't able to be done. I think the moment he was in DRS, he was always. It's unfortunate with Baku. It's always that track where if you're behind somebody, if you're first in the last lap of Baku, you're basically done for because how far back the straight is, the finish on the straight. Like they're always going to get the run on you. So I think it just didn't quite work out in that situation. But the season's not over. There's 2 races. It's 14 points. Uh, Basically, like it only takes one bad result for Ryan now. Not he could technically get second both races. You get first, and then we go even. I don't know what happens then, but it's definitely not over with 2 races. I think you've showed that you've got the pace, so I won't give up on it at any point. And one saving grace that you might not care about at the moment is I'm pretty sure the constructors is all but done now for Ferrari.
Yay.
Right, I'll let Packer if you got any questions or if you want to go do Ryan.
I'll ask this as a general question right now to everyone that's here. Japan for next week. I guess Maverick,
Right.
Ryan, and then Ivor.
Do you have one question in your arsenal?
Hey, you've skipped a few interviews, all right? I think I get a break now.
I think none of them want to go first.
I don't know. I haven't done much on it. I know it's not a pad track. I know it's more of a wheel track. I know the S's are horrible. I know the 2 Degnas you can't take as fast as you could in the last 18 games, but um, it's Japan, so I think it's one of those tracks where it's good to have it at the end of the calendar because it's always going to have some good racing with it.
Well, I mean, if I know Ryan B, mate, he's going to spin on those curves in Sector 1 and you'll be fine, so don't worry about it. What's that, the
Stuff of
bass in that
dreams.
microphone?
Sorry.
Alright then, Ryan, seeing as Packer's too scared to ask you a question, apart from about Japan, I'm going to ask you the same question, actually, as I asked Maverick, of that when that safety car came out and you went into the mediums, was at any point you were thinking this was the wrong idea? Was you always confident that by the end you'd be able to get past him?
Sorry. No, I thought if I could stick with him for 3 laps, I knew they would die off and the medium to be quicker. So I thought if I'm close enough with 2 laps to go, I'll give myself a fighting chance.
Yeah, I was very surprised that you stuck with him because obviously we thought those softs would be rapid on the first 2 laps. And then obviously you didn't have DRS for those first 2 laps as well, so you just had to rally on raw pace. So it's very impressive that you managed to keep up on the mediums in those 2 laps. I think if you'd have fallen out with that 1 second, that would have been it. And based off, I think the whole race, to be honest, it weren't even you versus Maverick, because Maverick, until the safety car, was comfortable in first. It was the whole race seemed to be you versus Mike, and then at the end of the race, obviously, there was a chance Mike took the win. Was there any worry whilst you were hunting down Maverick that Mike could possibly get past and take the win or second place off you?
No. So at the start of the race, I noticed he was very quick. I was very impressed by his pace, but I saw that he was using his ERS a lot, so I thought he would do the same thing on the restart, and I had enough. I thought I'd be fine, and especially with the medium pace at the end. So I wasn't too worried unless I made a mistake.
That's fair enough. A bit of confidence, all like that. You sound like a right. Anyway, right. So, I'll say now. Going into the last 2,
honest. Yeah.
you obviously you don't want to give too much away to your championship rival that's in the party, but you can now technically afford to. We're saying with barring he's not guaranteed to win both races, but we've seen his pace. There's a good chance he could do. Will you be happy knowing that you can possibly settle for 2 second places, never fastest lap? Or will you still be going to try and win both races? Like, is it going to be a cautious approach now, knowing you could give away a win technically? Or will you still be just going all out?
I think I'm going to go all out because the last few races I've gone a little conservative because I knew I had a gap and I didn't perform as well. Whereas I went for it today and I think I just performed much better. So no, I'm going to be going for it 100%.
Okay, and the final question I have for you today is why are you so terrible in qualifying all of a sudden?
Good question. I am a massive bottle when it comes to quality at the minute. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I just cannot do one lap.
Well, Japan, you might get away with it again because obviously we have straights on Baku and stuff where you can overtake. Brazil, I'll be surprised if you get away with qualifying points, so you might want to sort that one out pretty quick. But good luck to both of you for the
Thank
championship,
you.
and I hope we get some nice fair rate. I don't want to see no Schumachers, all right? No Monzas for staff. I don't want to see no purposely done takeouts.
No, there'll be none of
But
that.
if the race is anything like it was today, then we're going to have a really good end to the season.
Yeah, I'm going to pray for rain for the last two races. I think
I
that's what I
hate
need.
you. Stop talking.
Rainmeister and D4. Come on.
All right, Paco, you can do the last one. I don't know who it is. I feel bad. Oh, it's Mike. It's Mike.
Is all right. Well, yeah, Mike is here. So, Mike, I was talking to you earlier in the week. You said you had good pace here at Azerbaijan, and well, you were able to pull through P5 in qualifying. So wasn't exactly amazing, but you were able to get off to a good start, get through the carnage, and find yourself up here on the podium.
Yeah, so qualifying, I ended up being three times up just after the end of the sector one, then bottled it, lost it, and then gained another three times back at the end. So I could have got a little bit. I am a little annoyed with that, but yeah, as Ryan said, I did use a lot of errors at the start just to try and get clear of everyone, get myself as far up the order as possible. But I was comfortable in that first, and I wasn't really using too much after I got through on everyone. And somehow on the second stint, I had wing damage, so I have no idea where I picked that up, but apparently I had wing damage, which cost me the spot on Reserfly, which, you know, I mean, it happens, it's Baku, but decent result.
Yeah, definitely a decent result. Going back towards that first stint, your decision to stay out an extra lap more than Ryan B. end of lap 7, I believe. What was the thinking behind there? Just to get fresh tires, or yeah, what was the decision there? Because eventually Ryan B. and Resify both were able to get in front of you.
Yeah, I was just looking for that lap extra fresher mediums towards the end, and hoping that it would help me out, but obviously safety car, and obviously the damage, I have no idea where I picked that up, but yeah, that kind of changed things, but yeah, I mean, it was just for the lap extra fresher tires.
All right. Well, yeah, not much else to say, I guess, but well, congrats on your first podium of the season.
Yay!
I just want to laugh at Mike real quick, saying if you didn't pit that early for the mediums, you'd have won the race. But
I mean, hindsight 2020, and
you're a bottle, mate.
oh, cheers, bud. Appreciate it. Love you too.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you once again to Alt Maverick Ryan B and to Mike for their podium interviews and joining us here in the commentary booth. We do have to kind of get going here because we only have 6 minutes until Division 2 starts. So yeah, let's kind of have to get out of here. So yeah, once again, congratulations to Mike, to Ryan, and to Alt Maverick, and we'll see you guys next time for Japan in week